Check that. All right, I think this thing's up. I gotta check it first. Let me see. Okay, that's a good start. Thumbnails. Daniel Berry Sports Highlights. Hello, good evening or afternoon. Guess it depends on where you are at this point. Apologies for the glare. The sun's coming in at a bad angle. I got the curtains down and everything. It just kind of peeks through there. Hello, David. Hope you guys are having a good Monday. Just going to post this real quick. And then we have two announcements. Two announcements tonight on this live stream. Number one will be like the first thing I say after I make a post real quick. And then the second one we'll do later in the live stream before our Monday picks, which, by the way, raise your hand if you've gotten 2 straight Monday picks right. Anyone? Anyone? 2 straight Monday picks. And Harrison Burton was one of them. Yeah, guys, I still can't believe that happened. I did adjust the volume because when I was looking for that clip of me accidentally predicting Harrison Burton to win, when I was looking up that clip, I realized the audio was kind of whack or kind of low. So I adjusted it so that there would be more volume. So if it's too loud, let me know and I can turn it back down. Anyways, announcement number 1. Tomorrow, or no, I'm sorry, not tomorrow. Wednesday. What's Wednesday? August 28th. We will have a video. We will continue a video series that we have done so far. We will continue a video series we do every year. If you know what I'm talking about, I can't believe I'm going to say this. On Wednesday, we will have the first ever Harrison Burton Championship case. Yeah. Did not think I'd be saying those words this year. Definitely did not think I'd be saying those words after the season he's had, but hey, here we are. Harrison Burton Championship case coming to you Wednesday. That's announcement number 1 of 2. I'd say that's the more minor announcement on this live stream. The bigger announcement will come, as I said, before we make our Monday picks. And look, I know last week I said if Harrison Burton actually wins, I will never make a pick again. Well, guess what? I lied. We're still going to be making picks here. I mean, I don't know. It's kind of fun. I don't know. If you don't have fun with it, then I'm sorry, I guess. But yes, this will be on Wednesday. Harrison Burton Championship case. Get yourself a good look at the thumbnail. I will get to comments after I pull up the point standings and the race results, and we can read through those. Let's go to the race results first. We are going to go to the race results. Harrison Burton, your winner at Daytona. All right, let's get the screen back on. Okay, there we go. So here you go. I don't know why it's all whack like this, but okay. Back to the comments. Marcus, hello. You're predicting Christopher Bell? I didn't know you were a Christopher Bell fan. I see all your Christopher Bell predictions. So I don't know why this is all the way. What if I refresh it? I'm scared this is going to do something, but all right. In between the lanes, what's up? I hope you're having a good Monday. All right, so the website's just acting whack. All right, cool. We're going to have to look at the results. We'll zoom in a little bit. There's that better. Get a look at the top 6. Crazy race. Yeah, David, it was a crazy race. And I didn't even talk about, but it was actually a pretty good race. There was a few too many big wrecks, but it was still a good race on Sunday. Entertaining, different leaders, lots of passing, 3 wide. It wasn't like 2 lanes just dominating the track. So yeah, fun race. Tech, Ryan, hello from Australia. Gingen, apologies if I pronounced that wrong, but hello, hope you're doing well. Man, I thought Kyle Busch was going to get his first win in 2024, but congrats to the Wood brothers on their 100th win. Yeah, it's it's crazy because they've been sitting on 99 for 7 years now. And if you told me it was going to happen soon, I would have guessed next year with Josh Berry. If you told me Harrison Burton, I would have said a super speedway is the only way it happens, and it would have had to be the most chaotic race ever. That's essentially what happened. We saw 3 massive wrecks. We saw 2 flips. We saw the best cars get taken out. We saw a lot of good cars go out early. In that first one, we saw Denny Hamlin, Chase Elliott, Ross Chastain got a lot of damage. A lot of good cars went out in that first wreck, and they kept it tame for a bit, but then coming down to the wire, obviously we had the McDowell incident, and that took McDowell, who led 20-plus laps in that race, took him out of it. Took Logano out of it, who almost led 50 laps. I mean, 2 really good cars. So once that second crash happened, it seemed like it was anyone's game because the best cars of McDowell, Logano had been taken out. And so it was anyone's game at that point. And then the more we go, the more cars we lose. And all of a sudden it's Harrison Burton versus Kyle Busch. And just imagine before Sunday, or Saturday, sorry, the race was on Saturday, going up to someone who's a long-time NASCAR fan, they know every driver, they watch every week, and you tell them, hey, Kyle Busch is going to have control of the final restart at Daytona with Christopher Bell pushing him on the inside line. On the outside will be Harrison Burton, who's 34th in points, and behind him will be a part-time car with Parker Retzlaff making his second ever Cup start. Who do you think's going to win that battle? I think almost everyone would pick Kyle Busch, unless you're a chaotic person. You like chaos. You think something crazy is going to happen. Then you'd pick Burton. Well, Harrison Burton won. Harrison Burton beat Kyle Busch. Wild thing to say here in 2024, that Harrison Burton beat Kyle Busch for a race win. So, yeah, we have reached wild times in 2024. Harrison Burton in the playoffs, Kyle Busch not, has to win at Darlington. Everyone has to win at Darlington. I know Bubba and Chastain could technically point their way in, but I don't know. With how good Buescher looked in the spring, I think it might come down to winning for Bubba and Chastain. But let's see. I called it, Cloudy 341 Blades, as I called it last stream, that a Ford was going to cause a big wreck. Hey, I said Gregson was going to cause the big one. I know technically he got wrecked, but he was at the front of it. Are we going to count that as going 2 for 2 with the Monday picks, or no? All right. Well, I don't know. Depressed that Denny won't ever run Darlington again. What does that mean? Like an Xfinity? I know he's not on the Xfinity entry list, but he's still running Cup. Unless I missed like a sudden Denny Hamlin retirement. That would be crazy. But did you see the Tyler Reddick Darlington paint scheme? I did, with the Michael Jordan, Wayne Gretzky, and Tiger Woods on the hood. I will talk about that later. Once again, we'll focus on Darlington at the end of this thing, and I've got a second announcement coming before that. If you missed announcement number 1, we're doing a Harrison Burton Championship case video on Wednesday. It'll be fun. We'll have fun with it. In the words of Thomas Rhetz, my heart is racing like it's Daytona. No idea who that is. Thoughts on Diffie in the booth? Oh my gosh, it was better than I thought, and that's saying something because I quite literally had the highest possible expectations. I love Lee Diffie. Listening to the Indianapolis 500 every year when he calls the Olympics. You know, we got a preview of it just, what's it been, 3-4 weeks since the Olympics? We got a nice little preview, and I know Lee Diffie's done a few NASCAR races before, but oh my goodness, what a call by Diffie. But here comes Harrison Burton. That gives you chills, and then the final call of Jeff, your little boy's done it. I mean, that was a really cool call. Great call by Diffie as always. And when they announced when he was taking over, I was like, oh my God, he's going to call 3 super speedways. He's going to call Daytona, Atlanta, and Talladega all in the span of like 2 months. Oh, that's going to be beautiful. It's going to be amazing. So I'm very much looking forward to the rest of the season with Lee Diffie. Once again, I like Rick Allen. I think he's done a great job. But hey, Lee Diffie in the booth is absolutely the best possible choice if you ask me. He is top tier. He's in a tier of his own, arguably. So I loved Lee Diffie in the booth. I don't care what anyone says. Diffie nailed this race. His energy is awesome. He can probably make golf exciting and walking spectacular. That's the thing. I didn't really see any Lee Diffie hate. Maybe I wasn't looking hard enough. I'm sure, there's 8 billion people on the planet. You can find maybe one hater at least. But I don't get how you can actually hate Lee Diffie and not be like trolling. That's about the only way I feel like you could do it is if you're trolling. But no, I can't. No, it's impossible. He does so well at what he does, at telling the story, at, his play-by-play job is perfect. It's perfection. So no complaints about Lee Diffie. Whatever the opposite of complaint, like the top tier compliment, I guess would be the opposite. Bubba Wallace in P6 is absolutely insane. He's crazy good at those super speedways. Yeah, and what's crazier is his car had quite a bit of damage too. I remember the 2022 when he finished second in that Daytona 500 to Austin Cindric. His left or right front, like, wheel cover essentially was completely ripped off. So he was driving with an open wheel essentially, and he came a few feet, half a car length essentially away from winning that thing. So yeah, Bubba's a good super speedway racer, but he did a great job yesterday. He did a great job with the finish, for the most part staying out of the wrecks, but unfortunately just someone else won. It was someone below that cut line, and that just ended up kind of screwing him in a sense. So it's ultimately what it came down to. Lane Riggs won the truck. Yeah, dude, that was crazy. Lane Riggs, if you missed it, Lane Riggs was celebrating like crazy, and it's his first ever Truck Series win, and he's celebrating. He just won, and he starts doing this, pumping his fist, and all of a sudden he comes down and he's holding his shoulder and he's kind of stretching his arm out, holds his arm out, and he jumps off the car and the team grabs his arm and he like pops his shoulder back into place. He dislocated his shoulder. Apparently he's had some previous injuries. He like broke his collarbone and it's messed up his shoulder, so now it kind of dislocates a lot. But that threw me off. I thought maybe he got in a wreck or something, but then I remember that truck race was pretty uneventful. But Lane Riggs missed the playoffs this year. Definitely a disappointment. That's been a championship contending truck before, but Lane Riggs is a rookie, and he's a great short track driver. I mean, just look at his results the last few weeks at Richmond, at where did they go after Richmond? Where did they go? They went somewhere else. Maybe it was just Milwaukee. But he's done great. Top 5, top 10 speed, and ultimately, I mean, winning's winning. You're not going to say no to winning, but it's almost like he won 1 week too late in terms of the championship implications. But as I said, a win's a win. He'll take it. Let's see here. Always enjoy your show, and congratulations to the Wood Brothers for their success and 100th win. Also, did you know when RCR has their second appeal? That is something, yes, George. First of all, George, thank you for the kind words. I appreciate it. I'm glad you enjoy what we do here. Talking about NASCAR, racing, I have fun with it, so I'm glad you enjoy it. I'm glad you support the channel, so I appreciate the words. As for everything else, yeah, congratulations to the Wood Brothers. Obviously, the 100th win, as we said earlier, they've been sitting on 99 forever. And then the RCR appeal, I did want to talk about it. It's not shocking, but the final appeal was denied, so Austin Dillon's penalty did stand. So last week they announced that Austin Dillon's penalty, the first initial appeal, would be upheld in terms of keeping him out of the playoffs, but they reduced the suspension of the spotter. So the spotter from Richmond was on the spotter stand this past weekend at Daytona. He served a one-race suspension. But as for everything else, it stays the same. The points deduction, it's still there. The kick out of the playoffs, he's no longer in the playoffs, that stayed the same. It went to a second appeal, and then it went to the final appeal. And the final appeal, they upheld, essentially, what the penalty was. So no playoffs for Austin Dillon unless he wins at Darlington this upcoming weekend, which is not too absurd of a thought. Austin Dillon's come close at Darlington before. Do I think it will happen? No. Spoiler alert, he is not my Monday pick. But I think he feels better about this track than if it was like a Kansas or, Michigan or, I don't know. I was going to say Richmond, but obviously after a couple weeks ago, he'd probably prefer it be Richmond again. But no, so in conclusion, Austin Dillon still out of the playoffs. They still get to keep the win. The spotters suspension was upheld in terms of it only being a one-race suspension after it was reduced last week. Everyone mad that Parker pushed Burton. I don't care what anyone says. I applaud for what Parker did. RCR and Busch won't find him a ride. RCR doesn't. So, yeah. I saw a couple people commenting on that saying, oh, Parker Retzlaff, how dare he push a Ford past a Chevrolet and push him past Kyle Busch to victory. Here's the thing. If that was Austin Dillon, I think people would be a little bit more mad. And I didn't see like everyone hating on Retzlaff, but here's the situation. Parker Retzlaff, this is only his second career Cup Series start. He's never made a start at Daytona, and it's only his second start, and he has a chance at the win. Parker Retzlaff's best chance at the win for him and Beard Motorsports is pushing Harrison Burton to the lead because they would either be in second or third, and they would have the next best shot at the win. If Parker Retzlaff jumps out of line or doesn't push Burton, then all of a sudden he goes from potentially having a shot at the win to 8th, 9th, maybe even 10th. And I know he finished 7th. We don't have to scroll that far down here to find Parker Retzlaff. But he got wrecked in the tri-oval. He got sent into the wall. If it wasn't for that, he would have finished in the top 5 on his first ever Daytona start in the Cup Series. So Parker Retzlaff did nothing wrong, if you ask me. People will watch F1 and they'll complain about the team orders, but then when it comes to situations like this in NASCAR, they're like, how dare a Chevy push a Ford past a Chevy for a victory? It's like, hold on a second. That's the same thing. That's exactly the same thing as what happened in Hungary with Lando Norris and Oscar Piastri. You're asking him not to contend for the win so that someone else can win that has the same engine as him. So, no, Parker Retzlaff did great on Saturday. Should have had a better finish, and it was nothing his fault. He got wrecked in the tri-oval because Daytona. So, and regardless, he still finished 7th. For your second ever career start, that's a pretty darn good finish for a part-time team, too. So, Parker Retzlaff did nothing wrong. He had a fantastic race. What a great result for him and Beard Motorsports. Let's see here. Jimmy Johnson said first winner. He called it. Oh, yeah. Jimmy Johnson, I forgot that he was doing some work with NBC this year. I completely forgot that. So that threw me off when he was on the pre-race show. But I thought he did good. Nothing extraordinary, but I thought he did a good job. So, would you rather have, as a play-by-play, Prime Mike Joy or Diffie? Ooh. Don't make me make that decision. I'm not making that decision. I love them both. There's my answer. Probably a boring answer, but I love them both. There was a lot of Diffie hate because of his accent. Yes, he does have an accent. He's not from the United States. He's from Australia, but he has United States citizenship. He's been over here for over a decade, and his accent's really not that hard to understand. It's not that thick. I mean, he has an accent. You can hear it, but it's not like a incoherent or like a you can't comprehend what he's saying. Like, he does a really good job at enunciating words, so I don't know what people are complaining about. People just complain to complain. So here's me complaining about people complaining. See? Everyone complains about something. But, see? Yeah. Almost, but not really. A Penske sweep with Will Power winning in Portland. Harrison Burton winning at Daytona. Yeah, they're an affiliate with Penske. So, I mean, not technically, but close enough. Penske sweep. Not really. But anyway, I do get your point in between the lanes. I have a problem with people saying fix these cars. There's nothing to fix. Nothing can stop a car from going over. Yeah, I mean, look, I think it's just the fact that we've had 3 flips in 2 weeks, which is pretty, well, I'll admit it, it's pretty abnormal. We see a flip at Daytona every once in a while. We had 2 in one night, And sometimes it's just the way the air flows, like with the McDowell thing, the way the cars get caught on each other. And then last week with LaJoy, they adjusted it. They made a fix. They added something to the car, and, there was both flips. Neither were like what happened with LaJoy. He wasn't in open air and all of a sudden flipped over. They were kind of attached to another car, and airflow does all these weird things that even I can't understand. And so I don't know. I think it's fine. I can't even remember the last time we had a flip before yesterday or before Michigan. Priest last summer, and Priest, they fixed that issue too. He dug into the grass and shot up in the air. So we haven't had as many flips as I feel like people are talking about. So I think it's a little bit of an over-exaggeration, but NASCAR banned adjustment. Icy, sorry if I pronounced that wrong. Milwaukee won't return for 2025 in trucks. Yeah, speaking of, reports are saying that the 2025 schedule will be released tomorrow. If that is true, I will make a video. We're going to react to every single date on the calendar. If the early reports are true, Mexico is going to be on the calendar, so prepare for that. I think that's a great idea. I think that's amazing. I'll go more into depth tomorrow. Richmond is losing a date. That's all but confirmed at this point. That's been rumored for months. Other major changes. We've talked about the playoffs already. Talladega is in the round of 8. New Hampshire and Gateway get shifted to the playoffs. Miami is moved to March so they can make renovations between 2025 and 2026 in a shot at getting the championship back. Other big dates, there's a lot of things that get moved around. Like I think Dover's supposed to be in July. I think Texas is back in May. I can't remember what the reported schedule was, but just know there's a lot of change on the schedule, and the report is that it's coming out tomorrow. And if that's wrong, then, well, sorry for getting your hopes up. There's like 3 different reports on it. It's like The Athletic, motorsport.com, they both said that it's reportedly coming out tomorrow. At least the Mexico news is coming out tomorrow. And the reports for the past few weeks have been that Mexico has been the last thing to be signed that would make the schedule official. So you would think. Anyways. We talked about that. Patty says they can rethink Jimmy Johnson as a commentator. You went from high energy Diffie to extremely low energy Johnson. Yeah, I think with Johnson, I get what you're saying, but I don't think he's like a Lee Diffie. He's like a Jeff Burton, where they're going to get super excited. He's going to get super excited when something's happening or when he's talking about something. But I think he's pretty matter of fact. Obviously, he talked about Legacy Motor Club a little bit more, but I think we've seen that with all driver owners in the booth. Regardless of how hard they try, there's always going to be that slight internal bias. Jeff Gordon had it when he talked about Hendrick. He tried his best to hide it, but every once in a while it would come out. Even when we see current drivers, when they do the drivers only, if they know someone. But anyways, I don't think it's an issue. But Johnson's only part-time, so if you're not a big fan of him on the Peacock pit box or whatever, then you won't have to deal with it super long. I'm curious if he makes it a full-time thing, though. Now Riggs has a perfect record at Milwaukee because it's not coming back. So technically he's undefeated at Milwaukee. Guess that's true. Funny RCR trying to appeal for Dylan. Absolute clown shoes. Well, here's the thing. Cloudy 341 Blade. What else were they going to do? If you're RCR, that is your only win on the year. And even if you didn't win it, it was going to be your closest shot at a win all year, other than Kyle Busch at Daytona and Atlanta. So your first non-super speedway shot at a win, and you win the race, and you get to keep the prize money, the trophy, but they're telling you can't be in the playoffs, and it's a long shot that you're going to win one of the last 3 races of the regular season. Of course you're going to appeal that penalty, or else you're going to finish in the 30s in the standings. But it's a multi-million-dollar difference to make it into the playoffs, to make the top 16. So it would be foolish for them to not appeal, for them to not try. So you can get mad at them and say, oh, they're a disgrace or they're clowns. They're obviously not going to win that appeal. Well, they don't really have another choice. they may go into the appeal knowing they're not going to win, and they have to throw some maybe crazy conspiracy at the appeals panel, but ultimately they have to. They don't have another choice. So that's my opinion on it. I think they had to. Jordan says, I felt so bad when Berry flipped. I thought he was going to win. He had a great car. Yeah, Josh Berry did great. He won a stage. He led some laps. He was up front most of the day, but Daytona strikes, and that was a scary crash. The flipping and hitting the inside wall at a good bit of speed while upside down. Glad to see he's okay. Glad to see him get out of the car, obviously, but Josh Berry, definitely a difficult day, or not a difficult day, but a difficult ending. He actually had a great day prior to that. So, will Parker Retzlaff ever win a cup race? Hey, if he's at a super speedway, you never know. Beard Motorsports, they're going to win a cup race one day. Whether it's Retzlaff, whether it's Alfredo. Because think about this. Brendan Gaughan in 2019 was going for the lead with just a couple laps to go at Talladega before he got wrecked and flipped. Anthony Alfredo finished top 10 in the spring. And then Parker Retzlaff had a shot at the win this past weekend. Beard Motorsports, they only show up at these super speedways, but they always are fast. One of these days they're going to break through, I think. It's going to be a long shot. It's going to be a shocker. It's going to be an upset regardless of how they do it. But a Beard Motorsports victory, I see it at some point in the future. I'm not going to predict like it's going to be Talladega this fall, but if they continue to race, I think they can get it done. Cloudy341 Blade says team orders are a disgrace to motorsports. I don't care if you are a single point. If I'm in position to win, I'm winning. Yeah, once again, I've never been pro team orders. I get there's a bigger picture to things sometimes when it comes to championship, like an F1 when it comes to the championship. But the big thing for me is don't just pull over to let your teammate by. But if they're faster and it's your teammate, you don't have to race them as hard. Now, don't pull over, but don't make their life too difficult. But, okay, for example, if Tyler Reddick his tires are old, they're on a different strategy, and he's slow, and Bubba Wallace comes to pass him. Tyler Reddick, don't just pull over and go half speed to let him by, but don't block him. Don't try to slide job him. Don't try to do anything crazy, but once he gets by you or once he's side by side and he goes into the corner, just let him go. No need to fight it. But if it's Ross Chastain and every point matters for Chastain, you're going to want to fight that a little bit harder. You're going to want to maybe block him a little bit, nothing too crazy. Maybe throw a slide job if you can make it stick. But then again, Tyler Reddick and slide jobs at Darlington. Do we really want to see that again? Man, throwback to the spring Darlington. Will Shane Van Gisbergen win a championship in NASCAR? I think it's too early to say. We got to see a lot of improvement at the ovals. The majority of the schedule is ovals. You got to remember that. The championship is on an oval. The majority of the playoffs are on an oval. So you do have to remember that. You have to factor that into place. So if he can massively improve on the ovals, if Trackhouse can become a powerhouse, then it's possible. As of today, I would say no. But once again, it's all about how he improves on the ovals. If he can continue to go like this in his trajectory on the ovals, he could very well. And under this format, if he wins, I think we're going to have 4, maybe 5 regular season road courses next year. If he can win all of them, that's 30 playoff points right there, or 25. Win a couple stages, you get almost 30. Pick up a stage win at Super Speedway, and you got some points with you. But once again, you're gonna need some help there in terms of just I think SVG, he knows it too. You just got to improve on the ovals if you want to give yourself a shot. Michaels was technically not a flip, but 2024 is now the year of flips. I mean, his car was you could see the floor, the whole floor. I think that's close enough. Maybe I'm too optimistic. Is that even optimistic to say a car flipped? Maybe that's pessimistic. I don't know at this point. Regular season championship battle is heating up. It's crazy. No, for real. No. Let's go to it. If this would zoom out. Okay. You're gonna be okay. Hold on. I don't know what I'm doing here. Oh, that's why. Let's look at this regular season championship battle. There's only 3 guys mathematically in it. Tyler Reddick, Kyle Larson, and Chase Elliott. Reddick's got a good lead. And remember how good Reddick did in the spring, so I'd expect him to wrap this thing up. Larson could very well contend for it. Elliott, I'm not as optimistic on it because he ran very poor at Darlington in the spring. But once again, he's run top 5 at random tracks. Richmond, Texas, Michigan was top 5 before the late incident. But yeah, I think Reddick's not got it in the bag, but he's feeling pretty good, especially considering the track we're going to next week. Feels weird without the backstretch grass. It's naked, at least painted or something. I wasn't too disturbed by it. I saw some people were, but I don't know. I wasn't as scarred, I guess, by the lack of backstretch grass. When is Auto Club coming back? Oh, buddy, Jordan, your guess is as good as mine. I have no idea. Maybe never. Maybe 2027. Maybe 2047. Once again, your guess is as good as mine. There's a report that NASCAR is going to try to have their own 24/7 NASCAR channel. I saw that. I think it's great. We lost Race Hub, obviously. I think we need some sort of weekday, weeknight media for NASCAR to have, some sort of talk show, some sort of replay highlight center. If the Longhorn Network can survive and thrive off that 2006 Rose Bowl game as long as it did, then I think NASCAR can have its own network showing the 2001 Pepsi 400, showing the 2022 Martinsville race with the Hail Melon. You know, they got their own races they can show that people will be like, oh, I feel so sentimental about that race. Oh, the emotions of that race, and they turn it on. So even if they don't have a talk show, even if they don't show the races on it, they have something there. And NASCAR has a lot of content. They've got 76 years of history. They got almost 50 televised years of history. So NASCAR, yeah, they should have something like that. So if that report's true, I hope it is. I think they have a great opportunity to do something unique, borderline special with it. So, yeah, I hope that's a real thing. Can we talk about how the Clash, people complain about Daytona for being a crash fest? With LA, people thought it was a crash fest. Now we were going to a track. Yeah. Once again, I'm going to wait till the full schedule to give my full opinion. But I laughed at the Bowman Gray news because people were so mad about LA. People were saying, oh, what are we doing racing in a football stadium? This is the stupidest idea ever. I can't believe NASCAR is doing this. Why would they go to Los Angeles for a football stadium? And then those same people, when we go to Bowman Gray, are like, greatest decision ever. Best racetrack in America. What? The same type of track, same setup. It's just one's an iconic football stadium, Olympic Arena, World Series has been there. But Bowman Gray has a bunch of cool fights and crashes. So, I don't know. The logic of some fans makes no sense to me. But you're allowed to have your own opinion. You're allowed to have your own opinion on everything. I respect that people are allowed to have their own opinions, but that one to me just does not make a lot of sense. Adjust the camera a little bit. I didn't realize how bad it looked earlier, so sorry. Austin Dillon just lost his final appeal. Yeah, we just talked about that. No playoffs for Dillon unless he wins Darlington. What track do you think Kyle Busch keeps his streak alive at? Oh, Lord. Talladega, he's got a chance. Atlanta, he's got a chance. Kyle Busch at JGR, he always found his way to being a wreck at these super speedways. But think about it. Since he's joined RCR has always had a great super speedway program. He won at Talladega. He about won the Daytona 500 in 2023. He was inches away from winning at Atlanta, and he led a final restart at Daytona just 2 days ago. So Kyle Busch has, I don't know why, but it's like going over to RCR just gave him more luck at the super speedways. ironically enough, with how bad his luck has been this year. It's like he has unleashed, or he's found something different about these super speedways and the RCR equipment versus the Gibbs equipment, where he'd lead laps, he'd run up front, maybe even win a stage every once in a while, but he had a 15-year drought without winning at a super speedway. So, yeah, I think that's your best chance. If their short track program really has improved and they have as much speed as they did at Richmond, maybe he could pull off an upset at Martinsville. Bristol's obviously a fantastic track for him. It's his best track, I think. He's got all those wins there across all 3 series, so Bristol or Talladega is my guess. Now with Harrison, since Harrison won at Daytona, does he go all the way in the playoffs? Or yeah, I'll make my playoff preview prediction thingy-ma-watch-it after Darlington. About this time next week, actually. Maybe a little bit later. Maybe I'll do it midweek. I haven't decided yet. But let's just be honest. I don't think Harrison Burton goes very far. He's probably going to get bounced in the first round. But regardless, I don't want to take anything away from him. He drove a great race at Daytona. He made the right moves at the end. He got the lead, and he threw some aggressive blocks, but they weren't crazy. And he won the race, and he did it the right way. So just congratulations to Harrison Burton again. But they are in the playoffs. It is a topic that has to be discussed. And as I said, Wednesday, Harrison Burton championship case. Woo. Cody Ware and Parker have more top 10s than Kyle Larson at plate tracks. So who's really the greatest wheel man? Yeah, Cody Ware and Parker Retzlaff are number 1 and number 2 in my active NASCAR drivers list of all time. How about you? No? Okay. Yeah, Kyle Larson's always been bad at the super speedways, and even when he runs good, he finds a way to get caught up in the wreck. So the fact of the matter is, I think one of these days he kind of gets lucky and he wins one of these things, but I don't know how he's going to do it. He's going to have a monster car, be on pole, leading at the end, and take the white flag, and there'll be a caution the instant he takes the white flag. But yeah, Larson at super speedways is something else, and that's not a compliment, respectfully. Well said. You called it. Yeah, thanks, KJ. We're 2 for 2 in the last 2 weeks on Monday picks. If only I knew Austin Dillon was going to win at Richmond, I could have been a real genius, but unfortunately not. But no, I'm living high on this win streak. I'm not going to actually stop making picks. Sorry to disappoint. I'm going to continue on, but we'll make our Monday picks later. Let's see what time it is. About 10 minutes. Could have gotten the number 8 cheddar special today. Yeah. Yeah, disappointing for Kyle Busch for sure. Cheddars, yeah, that got brought up. I was like, man, I forgot Cheddars had that deal. Michael McDowell's crash reminds me of Tony Stewart's flip at Daytona or Dega in 2012. Yeah, with the way he kind of tipped over in the middle of the wreck. How do you dislocate your shoulder while celebrating? I've never seen that. He pumped his fist too hard, man. But no, for real, they said he had a previous injury and that it sometimes comes back. Every once in a while, his shoulder would just pop out a little bit, you know. Before I entered the chat, Kyle Petty had a hot take on Kyle Busch not knowing how to race on super speedways. I mean, look, Kyle Busch isn't one of the best at super speedways. I'd agree with that. But to say he doesn't know what he's doing, I think that's a little crazy. He's got 4 wins, I want to say, on him. So to say he doesn't know what he's doing, I don't know about that. But he's not a Denny Hamlin, a Ryan Blaney, a Brad Keselowski. I'll give you that. But I don't know about he doesn't know what he's doing. We have the NASCAR YouTube channel, but a 24/7 channel might work if done right. I'd agree with that statement. NASCAR decided, hey, the land around Auto Club Speedway is worth a lot of money. So, yeah, I don't know about Auto Club. Once again, your guess is as good as mine. My pick is pretty wrong. Picked Kyle Busch to win at Daytona. You were only 1 position off, David. So not terrible. Is Bowman Gray Stadium a football stadium? Yes, it's very tiny. It's somewhere in North Carolina. I don't know where. Once again, I'll go more into it tomorrow if the schedule truly is released tomorrow. Don't forget the Olympics is going to be in 2028. LA has more history than Wreckfest at some track made for college and high school kids. See what I mean, guys? Like, LA Coliseum, think about it. The Olympics, World Series, Super Bowls. I'm sure it had a college championship there. O.J. Simpson. I mean, it's an iconic football stadium. USC still plays there. So, pretty iconic. Then Bowman Gray, I see a bunch of short track fights and crashes and guys flipping and stuff. Flipping and flipping off. I wish we can keep the Jeff Burton cam when someone wins. Well, yeah, obviously he was going to be excited. It's his son. He reacted that way when he won that Texas race on the last lap when Harrison Burton turned left to beat Noah Gragson. So, will Kyle Larson beat Jimmy Johnson's record of 7 Cup championships? No one is winning 7 championships in this format. They have to have a rocket ship or they have to have the best luck of all time to win 7 championships in this format. Now, if we abandon this format or we adjust it to make it like a 5-race series or something, maybe, but no. As long as we have this format, I don't even know if anyone reaches 5. Like, it's going to be tough in this format. It's too much of a crapshoot, honestly, even when it gets down to that final race. And I know we go to normal racetracks for that final race, but we just moved Talladega to the round of 8. So we're inching closer to Talladega as the championship. It won't actually happen, but you never know. Milwaukee had a doubleheader. I couldn't even tell you what happened in ARCA. Sorry, I didn't watch. You can yell at me if you want. I apologize. Ryan Truex Jr. Ryan Truex won Daytona on Saturday. Yeah, it was a family weekend. We had Ryan Truex, brother of Martin Truex Jr., winning on Saturday, or Friday. Got my dates all mixed up. Saturday in Cup, we had Harrison Burton, the son of Jeff Burton, winning. And then Sunday in the trucks, we had Lane Riggs, son of Scott Riggs, winning. So a lot of NASCAR families were very happy after Sundays, Saturdays, Fridays races. And we were all out of kilter with the schedule because Friday Xfinity, Saturday Cup, Sunday truck. It was all flip-flopped. Wouldn't it be crazy if Kyle won Sunday at Darlington? I know the car sucked in May, but they had a great setup last May, so hopefully they will use that setup. First of all, happy early birthday, KJ. But as for Kyle Busch winning, I don't know. Let's move on to Darlington. And I will make... first, hold on. I got to get the entry list up. That requires me... No, not video. Oops, wrong one. Sorry. Apologies. I'm really good at clicking the wrong button. I think I've done that before. Anyways, let's go to Bob Pockris, see if he's posted the entry list. I know J-Ski has, so if Bob has posted... Okay, by the way, the Xfinity field this week is stacked. Like Elliott, Bell, Gregson, and some other people. We'll go to that. First, let's look at the Cup entry list. And I think I got everyone in there. Yeah, there we go. Okay, here we go. Here's your Cup entry list. And while we're here at the Cup entry list for Darlington, we have our second announcement on the channel today during this live stream. The first one was the Harrison Burton Championship case. Number 2, regarding the next 2 race weekends, I will be there. I will be at both Darlington and Atlanta. I usually like to wait till the weekend of, but I figured this would be a good time to announce it. So I'll be heading out to Darlington. It will be my first ever Crown Jewel weekend. I will have access once again like I did in the spring. So that'll be exciting, I hope. That'll be fun. I'll try to get some driver interviews, get some up-close action for you guys. Try to find a story somewhere. We got the playoff cutoff line and Cup, but we got a big weekend. We got Xfinity and Cup, but I will be there at Darlington. Atlanta, I'm going regardless. I have reached out to someone there about access. But if not, I'll still go. I'll buy a ticket. I'll be in the stands. But that's announcement number 2. I will be at Darlington and Atlanta for the next 2 races. So no commercials for me. It's crazy how I get so excited. But the first thing, I'm going to a race. 2 races in a row. My first thought is, what's the best part? Oh, yeah, I don't have to see commercials. But that's the second announcement. As I said, I think that was bigger than the Harrison Burton Championship case announcement. Let's see. Not related, but did you watch Week 0? Of course I watched Week 0 of college football. Who didn't? Georgia Tech with the thriller. That was fun. I had fun watching the Bees, the Yellow Jackets. I like calling them the Bees because Bees are somewhat nicer than Yellow Jackets. But, yeah, I'm looking forward to I'm still going to look at the scores, but I'm not going to watch Week 1 because I'm going to be a little occupied at Darlington. But I'm looking forward to it. Texas plays Colorado State. That's my team, for those of you who know. So, if they suck this year, I guess I got to get insulted for it now. But if you want my official prediction, I'm saying 9-3. O.J. Simpson too soon. Yes, O.J. died in April. I remember. I need Jimmy Johnson to break the Cup Series record and join Lewis Hamilton. I don't know what that means. Jordan, I really don't know what that means. Oh, yeah, Icy. Once again, apologies if I pronounced that wrong. So look here at Timmy Hill, who will be in the 66 car for Carl Long and MBM Motorsports. The sponsor is just W. What does that mean? What is that? Who is W? What is W? Is that a win? Is it beats me? But oh my, look at some of these sponsors. Busch Retro, that'll be a cool paint scheme. Normal. Toys for Tots, curious to what that's going to be. All these other ones we've seen. The Napa Gold Filters is back for Chase Elliott. That's what he used at Sonoma, the black and gold number. That'll look really good under the lights. Kyle Busch with Morgan & Morgan. That's that yellow and black. Sports clips for Hamlin. SVG's in the Cup Series race this weekend. Remember that. He's in it for the next 3 weekends, actually. Busher in the Build Submarine. That's normal. Air Force for Bubba. That's a great paint scheme. Normal. We don't know what Front Row's lineup is. Normal. We don't know what that is. We don't know what W is. Normal. Don't know what that is. Normal. All right, cool. All right. Back to the comments. I meant Cup Championship for Jimmy Johnson. He needs to break it so he can stand alone with 8. Yeah, I hate to break it to you, Jordan. That's not happening. Jimmy won't go full-time again, and if he does, I don't think he's going to get it. Sorry to burst your bubble. Think about this. Remember Brad Keselowski came up 1 spot short at Talladega on April 21st. 3 weeks later, on Mother's Day, he got redemption at Darlington. So redemption has happened before. Well, Kyle Busch kind of only has 1 week to get redemption. He doesn't have a 3-week, I guess we can save it till then kind of period. So there you go. He's kind of got to win this week. Give me today, ! Tech. Hello, welcome to the stream. Imagine Dega or Daytona being the championship 4 and Larson is in that final 4. Yeah, watch that be the one time Larson actually does good at the super speedway and wins. That would be extremely ironic. I'm confused by people saying Martin Truex Jr.'s never won at a plate track. He absolutely dominated 04 and 06. Yeah, but that was the Xfinity series. And not to take it away from him, but it's not the Cup Series, so it's a different story. Let's see here. Bold prediction, says Get Me Today, ! Tech. Bubba Wallace wins at Darlington to make the playoffs, and Gibbs will have another JGR engine issue and miss the playoffs while Buscher makes it by a good points day. Truex will be clinched. So that says Truex, Buscher, Bubba make it and Gibbs and Chastain miss the cut. That's extremely bold. Like on a scale of 1 to 10, how bold would that be? I'd be like a 9 out of 10, I'd say. That's a pretty bold prediction. If you want my realistic pick, I'm going to say Buescher makes it. Like, let's just be honest. I don't think we see a new winner. If it is, it'll be Buescher or Bubba. Chastain's had good runs at Darlington before, but Chastain this year just hasn't been on it. They even last year wasn't as good as 2022, but they still every once in a while they'd show up and they'd lead a lot of laps, win stages, and dominated Nashville, dominated Phoenix, led a bunch of laps at Darlington, ironically, in the spring of 23. But this year they haven't had that at all. Whereas Bubba's led some laps. Bubba's run up front at Michigan, at Richmond earlier this year, and Buescher. In the spring, he had that hot streak at Kansas where he won a stage. He came that close to winning. Darlington, he had a shot at the win before Reddick kind of, obliterated him. So right now, let's make some Monday picks. I think Truex it would take a disaster for him to miss. So Truex makes it, no problems there. As for the final spots, I think Ty Gibbs makes it. I think he has enough of a gap, and he finished second in the spring. I think they're going to have speed once again. And that final spot, I'm going to give it to Buescher. Just with how good Buescher did in the spring, I expect to see that again. I expect to see them in the top 5, qualify well. I think Buescher, I think he's the final one to make the playoffs, meaning Bubba Wallace and Ross Chastain. And the biggest name out of these will be Kyle Busch to miss the playoffs. I know Bubba and Chastain have been closer to the bubble, and that's a bigger deal for a 2311 and a Trackhouse car to miss. But Kyle Busch, just the name Kyle Busch right now, missing the playoffs, that's a huge, huge deal. So that's my prediction for now. I think your final playoff spots go to Truex, Gibbs, and Buescher. So essentially as it is right now. Hello, Ashton. Hope you're doing well. Ross Chastain is the first ever 2025 diecast. Yeah, I saw that. He has a kind of new paint scheme for Busch. Ashton, you went to your first race. I hope you enjoyed it. Michigan. I hope you got to go for both days. Unfortunate weather. By the way, don't look up the Darlington forecast unless you want to be sad. But I hope you got to go for both days. Michigan, it ended up being a pretty fun race, pretty decent race. So I hope you enjoyed it. Martin Truex Jr. could win Darlington. Yeah, I think the best chance of a new winner at Darlington is Truex, Buescher, or Bubba, and maybe even Gibbs. I think Gibbs could potentially contend for the win after how well he did in the spring, but Truex got wrecked out early in the spring. Obviously, Buescher could have won that race if it wasn't for Reddick. And then who was the other one? Truex, Buescher, Gibbs finished second in that race. Truex, who am I forgetting? I just said, and Bubba ran top 10 in the spring, but didn't quite have that winning speed. But 2311, maybe they bring a little extra something to the track this weekend. Maybe Reddick helps him out a little bit more. I really don't know, but we'll see. I'm saying if Brad can get redemption out. Yeah, I get what you're saying, but yeah, unfortunately, I don't think Kyle Busch gets it done. I think the only possible way Kyle Busch gets it done is if there's a late race caution and he stays out. And even then, with how much the tires wear at this track, he's going to need 7 cars at least to stay out with him. That's the only shot he has at a win. If he can have that situation play out where there's a caution with 4 laps to go and he stays out, everyone else pits but him and 7 other guys, and the first 4 rows are taken up, he has a shot to win. But I know they've had a really good couple of weeks here with Austin Dillon winning at Richmond, Busch running top 5 at Michigan, and almost winning Daytona. But Darlington's a different animal, and I know Kyle Busch is a future Hall of Famer, and he's won this thing before, but right now I really think it's going to take a miracle for Kyle Busch, and I can't believe I'm saying that. But once again, it's Kyle Busch. It's KFB. If anyone can do it in this situation, it would be him. So, yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot to process here with Kyle Busch. You got your work cut out for you with that Harrison Burton case video. Yeah, once again, that was the first announcement of the day. I'm making my Harrison Burton championship case video on Wednesday. Yes, that's going to be a real video. I'm anticipating the schedule getting released tomorrow, and then Wednesday, Harrison Burton. So, what a time. What a time to be alive. Lane Riggs will be a lot better next year. He's getting that momentum similar to Chandler Smith in 2021. Yeah, I agree. I think Lane Riggs will be better next year. So, yeah, I think that's a pretty good guess, good prediction on that part. Crazy hot take. Does Prosper Texas' own Chris Buescher get revenge on Reddick at Darlington? I tell you what. If Buescher's in a tight point situation and he's like +1 or +0 and Reddick's right there, he's not going to forget. He's going to get, I guarantee you, he's going to get asked questions this weekend about it. About being on the bubble, about Tyler Reddick, what happened in the spring. And if it comes down to it, I think we could see a bump and run. I think we could see a Joey Logano, William Byron situation from 2022. Put him in the wall a little bit. Not necessarily an Austin Dillon thing where you completely obliterate him, but put him in the wall a little bit. So, and if it comes down, like let's say Bubba gets 20 stage points and Buescher gets 0, even then he'd still be +1. But if he's got to move Reddick for the win, then he might. I don't know, but I think that's a possibility, and I expect them to both be running up front. So, Homestead will host a night race again. 2025 prediction. It's possible. They're going to be in March, but it could be a night race. Looking at the points as a Hamlin fan is depressing. Cloudy 341 Blade. If you're going to talk about depressing, you might want to talk to Kyle Busch fans. I think they've had a little bit worse of a year than you, just a little bit. I think you could find some more fan bases too, but I think Kyle Busch is the big one right now. But, yes, Denny Hamlin, that penalty was killer. Killed his chances at the regular season championship. Now he's 8th in the standings. He's only going to get 3 points for all of his regular season work, all because of a mistake at the Toyota engine department. Nothing on track, nothing on the actual car was illegal. They just did something to the engine they weren't supposed to in terms of not, putting it on steroids, but they disassembled it wrong. Happy late birthday, Ashton. Hope you had a good one. Burton had a miracle Saturday night, so who's to say him winning isn't another miracle? Yeah, if Harrison Burton, last in the points, can win, who's to say Kyle Busch can't win on Saturday? Bold prediction, William Byron misses the 2025 play. Okay, we haven't even reached the 2024 playoffs. Well, I'm not talking about the 2025 playoffs. My playoff predictions this year are going to be horrendous. I am going max upsets this year because of the wild card rounds up front. I think a big name gets knocked out in the first round this year. It's going to be Hamlin, Byron, or Elliott. That's my guess. One of those three. Because Byron's kind of cooled off a little bit. Hamlin lost all his points, and there's a super speedway and a road course in there. And if he crashes at the super speedway and runs poor at the road course, you never know. He'd have to win Bristol maybe. And then Elliott's kind of a wild card because he's been so consistent. But at some point, you're going to go through a rough patch. And maybe that rough patch is the first round of the playoffs. I don't know. He just had his first DNF of the season. But I don't know. All right, let's do it. Let's make our Monday pick. So on the Cup side of things, who am I going to pick? Let's hear your Monday pick. I've gotten the last two right. Harrison Burton and Tyler Reddick. I said I'd never make a pick again if Harrison Burton won at Daytona, but no, I'm not going to live up to my word on that one. My Monday pick. I'm going to go with redemption, but I'm not going to go with the redemption you think. This is a veterans race. This is a champions race. This is a race where you got to be mentally, physically, emotionally prepared for anything that could happen. And this guy in the spring was running top 5 for a good chunk of the race before he got taken out prematurely. He would have had a good finish. I don't know if he would have won the race. That might have been a stretch, but he would have gotten a better finish than what he got. I'm going to go. This guy has not won this year. He's technically on the bubble, but we're thinking he's safe in the playoffs. I think Martin Truex Jr. wins his final Southern 500. I'm going to go with MTJ, Martin Truex Jr. to win the Southern 500. So let's see the other Monday picks. Cloudy 341 picked Denny Hamlin. I'm shocked. It's the most shocking pick I've ever seen. But no, that's actually I'm sure he's the odds-on favorite, so that's a really good pick. So Hamlin has a strong track record in the Southern 500 at Darlington as a whole. Didn't run as good as I thought he would in the spring, but remember last year could have won this race if it wasn't for a pit road mistake, I think it was, speeding or loose wheels, something like that. So very good shot. But I'm going to go with Truex. I think Reddick will be up there again. I think RFK will be up there again. Maybe even Larson and Byron. Byron's great at Darlington. Byron's got to get it turned around, so I think he could run top 5, but I'm going to go with Truex. Bubba, he nukes the playoff bubble in the regular season finale. That would knock Buescher out unless Ty Gibbs has some catastrophe early in the race. So, yeah, I'm going to go with Truex. We got one for Hamlin. We got one for Bubba. It's a Toyota fest in this live stream. I think a Toyota is going to win. This new body is made for tracks like these. Well, unfortunately, Toyota with this new body 0 for 1 at Darlington. And real quick, we're going to go over to the Xfinity Series entry list. And we're going to make our Monday picks on Xfinity. So the Xfinity Series at Darlington, we got some heavy hitters in this one. We have, get yourself a good look. We have, Joey Logano in the 15, Chase Elliott in the 17. We've got Christopher Bell in the 20, Corey Heim in the 26, TBA in the 35. Oh my goodness, TBA. NASCAR champion TBA. Let's see, there's someone else. Chastain's in this thing. Gregson's in this thing. We got a lot of Cup drivers in the field this week. So it's going to be an exciting Xfinity race. And we always know how good the Xfinity fall race is at Darlington. So I'm expecting what the kids call a banger at this Xfinity race. But as for who's going to win, Allgaier just dominated this thing in the spring. Man, I tell you what. Chase Elliott, he was so good at the old car at this track, but the new car hasn't quite worked out as well for him. Yeah, let's just go with Chase Elliott. It's kind of a boring pick, but Chase Elliott, he'll find a way, I guess. So Xfinity, I'm going Elliott. Cup, I'm going Truex. We got a couple of champions going for what is happening? Why is there a little bubble next to me? I just looked at my screen up here. There was a little bubble next to me. What was that? I've never seen that before. I'm scared. Is it in the room with me? That was freaky. I don't know what that was. Anyways, freaking myself out here. Xfinity pick, Parker Kligerman to break through. Yeah, he's come close. Came close at Daytona before the late caution. That's a lot of picks there, David. Kyle Busch, I think that's your first name you're listed, so I'm taking that as you pick a Kyle Busch win this weekend. So we've got a Kyle Busch pick. we've got I picked Truex. We got Denny Hamlin, Bubba Wallace, Kyle Busch. I think I already said Kyle Busch. On the Xfinity side, I said Elliott. We've got a Kligerman pick, Bell pick. So, yeah, I think at the end of the day, Elliott, Bell is going to be great there. So, but that Xfinity race is going to be exciting. Exciting. Taste of music. I like rock, AC/DC, Queen, Van Halen, all good stuff. Midlife crisis. I don't know about that, but there was a little bubble on the screen up here and it freaked me out. Brandon Jones. That would obliterate the Xfinity playoff grid. Speaking of, last thing we're going to look at here, we're going to look at the Truck Series playoff picture. Here's your playoff picture after one race. Still a super tight battle between Ben Rhodes, Raja Caruth, Grant Enfinger, even Daniel Dye. I mean, no one's safe except for like these three. Even Sanchez is pretty safe. But outside of that, it's a pretty close battle. So there you go. I guess you can't see it all. There you go. Truck playoff bubble. Get yourself a good look at it. That'll be the last thing we look at today. But as I said, thank you to everyone for showing up to this live stream. Really good live stream once again the Monday after. As for next Monday, I really don't know what the plan is. I'm going to be traveling, so I don't know where I'll be. I don't know. I think I know where I'll be, but if everything goes according to plan, if everything goes weather perfect, weather is fine at Darlington, we get the race in Sunday night. Monday night, I should be settled somewhere, but I don't know what time. So the Monday after Darlington's going to be, I don't know when. But this weekend and next weekend, I will be at the races at Darlington and Atlanta. So I'm looking forward to bringing you some content from there. Thanks for watching this video or live stream, whatever we call this thing. I'll see you in the next one. As I said, maybe the schedule comes out tomorrow. And then as for Wednesday, why Harrison Burton will win the NASCAR Cup Series Championship. Thank you guys again for watching. I enjoyed it.